Hey y'all, it's Chloe and we're back with another video. You guys, Married at First Sight, Cast Tell All last night was the best episode we had all season. And I'm not even trying to hold you. I was thoroughly entertained, and mainly because Lindsay went up there and showed her whole entire ASS. I mean, like all of it, the whole thing. I honestly didn't expect anything less from her, but I did not think that it would have been as dramatic as it was last night. But we're gonna get into it. But before we do, I need you guys to do me a favor. If this is your first time here, sit back, relax, watch the video on through. And if you like what you see and you like what you hear, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. If you are one of my lovely members or subscribers, hey y'all, how y'all doing? Do me one good favor, go ahead and like the video because I know you gonna like the video. So y'all, let's go ahead and just get into it. So Married at First Sight Cast Tell All, we had Tristan, who was married to Mia. Now y'all remember Mia, okay? Remember Mia was the one that got arrested at the airport and she had like charges for like theft and identity fraud and stalking and all types of stuff from the Dallas season. Child was a whole mess that season. Tristan is now married to, you know, his preference. We have Henry, who was married to Christina from the New Orleans season. Y'all remember Henry and Christina? Remember Christina was the one that was living inside her car? And had the nerve to be talking about Henry's little small apartment. Meanwhile, she ain't even have no apartment to go to, but we not even gonna talk about that. But congratulations to Henry because he got a girlfriend. Good for him, okay? She's cute too. We also have Kristen, who is married to Mitch from the San Diego season. Y'all, she's not dating because she's still technically married to Mitch, but she said when she settled down in her new job in her new state and all that good stuff, she's gonna be out here dating, okay? We got Jethy and Shanice, and y'all know I love Jethy and Shanice. That's my favorite couple. My favorite couple, okay? And y'all, I did not realize that they've been married for 6 years already. That's a long time. They had Mindy. Y'all remember Mindy? Mindy was married to Zach. And Zach, y'all, is one of the worst husbands of Married at First Sight history. If you don't remember, go back and watch, okay? Not only did Zach never move into the apartment, he actually was trying to talk to her friend, and then he went on a date with one of the cast members before the whole reunion season. It was a whole mess that season. I think that was Married at First Sight season 10. A hot mess, San Diego. Y'all go watch it, all right? But Mindy is dating with intentions. And last and not least, we have Lindsay. Remember, Lindsay was married to Mark the shark, who really didn't turn out to be a shark. It was more like a guppy, okay? But Lindsay was a whole class act and low-key alcoholic. Y'all remember. I know y'all remember. And she said she got a boyfriend now and she living good, okay? So that's the cast members that's going to be basically telling it all. So let's go ahead and get into some things. Now, I just want to let y'all know that I'm not going to get into everything because everything wasn't everything, okay? But there were some things that stood out to me, so let's just go ahead and do it. We have our host, and I cannot remember her name. I don't know why. Was it Megan? Was that lady named Megan? I'm not sure. We get started, and the host let us know that we got a special guest. Lindsay said she hopes it's the fine pastor, aka Pastor Divine. And that would have been a nice surprise because the surprise that they thought was supposed to make the whole show like, end up turning the cast upside down. But let's go ahead and keep going, okay? So we start by asking the cast members, how did they feel about last season? You know, Nashville, the season that we're currently still in and just can't seem to get out of. Kristen said it's just a hot mess. And I would agree with that. Lindsay decided that she was going to throw out the fact that she don't like McKinley. Now, I'm not upset with that because I don't like McKinley either. She said he feels like he came on the show just for his 15 minutes of fame, just to be on TV. And that's definitely what it was giving because we all know that McKinley came down to Nashville just to be on Married at First Sight. He had no intentions on staying, okay? Which is why he's on his way back home now. I'm not fooled by him, and I guess Lindsay wasn't either. But my thing is with Lindsay is that Lindsay always feels the need to like say things that nobody asked her. How do you feel about the cast? What do you think about the season? The season's a hot mess, Kristen said. Lindsay, I don't like McKinley. Like, unnecessary. You know what I mean? You know what I mean. We asked them, have any of them been talking to their exes? And of course, none of them would talk to their exes because they all had horrible, and I mean horrible marriages, okay? Lindsay claimed that Mark the Shark was reaching out to her, and the last time he reached out to her was like 2 days ago. And she's trying to figure out why he keep reaching out to her, trying to send her birthday cards, trying to send her birthday messages. She's trying to move on, and he's trying to hold on. That's what it seems like, okay? Come to find out, the guy's been sliding in Kristen's DM heavy. So Ryan was slid in her DM, and I'm like, Ryan didn't really have no personality. Don't really see that being a thing, okay? Then she wanted to act like she didn't want to say Mark, but she ended up saying Mark slid into her DMs. Come to find out that he sent her like 24 messages back to back to back to back to back to back to back. And she had to let him know, like, listen, my man is not in the Married at First Sight universe. Sorry, we cannot be a thing. That got me side-eyeing Mark. And y'all know I've always had a little side-eye for Mark, but it's just like, why you being so thirsty, sir? But you know, Lindsay had to make sure that she brought up the fact that he was sliding into Alyssa's DMs too. Y'all remember Alyssa? I'm such a nice person. So y'all, they done brought out the special guest. Now here I am thinking we was about to get something spectacular, but no, it was Steve. Now y'all remember Steve? Steve who was married to Noy, okay? From the Boston season. I was like, this the special guest? I guess. Okay, so he comes out and we find out that he's dating Mindy. And I was like, that's kind of cute, but not really, because last time I remember, y'all remember Mindy was like not taking showers and whatnot, and we was like trying to figure out if she was clean or a little dusty. Y'all remember? So anyway, Mindy and Steve are, you know, dating. They're like, you know, getting to know each other and whatnot. They bring up the fact that you remember that Steve and Noy was going through an IG back and forth battle during their divorce season, because he made a post and she made a post and he made a post, and she was basically saying he ain't had no money, he wasn't there for her, even though she was fighting for the marriage and he didn't want to fight. Y'all remember all that stuff. I made a couple of videos on it. If you don't remember, you can go back and watch them, okay? While he was sitting there saying all of that, Lindsay decided that she was going, you know, cut in a little bit. And she was like, I got a lot to say, but I'm going to keep it to myself. And then Tristan was like, well, why you going to start now? Don't start keeping it to yourself now. This is the tell-all season, okay? And she was like, all I'm going to say is he's a calculated liar. I said, here we go. Let's get it going. Lindsay, why you gotta sit up here and be so negative and so mean to everybody all the time? But I wouldn't expect anything less. Steve said, you know what? I just been blocking the haters on the internet, just like I do some of the castmates who feel the same way. She was just like, you know what, Steve? Don't start with me, because if you want to start, we can start. She told Steve that she know he need a paycheck and that's why he's there. I said, ooh, the shade. Mindy had to cut in because that's her man. And Mindy was like, no, he came down here because I was down here and I asked him to come. And I thought it would just be a good idea if he came up here because we're dating now. Oh, okay. Okay, now you hush, Lindsay, because obviously he was invited. Now, whether or not he did this for clout and tried to hook up with her for clout, I don't know. But y'all know the Married at First Sight people always try to date the Married at First Sight people. So I'm not surprised. So, you know, Mindy tells us how, you know, her and Steve end up hooking up. She's in IT now, and then she reached out to him on LinkedIn, and she basically was telling him, like, you know, she's trying to build her professional profile and whatnot. So, you know, they was networking a little bit, and then they kind of just end up hooking up. I think it's really cute. I don't think it's going to last, but it's really cute. So while everybody's sitting there like, oh, that's so cute, I'm just so happy for you guys, Lindsay decided that, you know what, she don't want nothing to do with it. So they like, Lindsay, what's the issue? I don't really want to talk about him or her. Like, I just don't want to talk about it. Girl, you a hater. You so bitter. Your season was how many seasons ago? Why you all in your feelings? Why you so upset? Like, girl, let it go. Just let it go. And she's like, he's a lying piece of trash. So Mindy was like, how you just gonna say somebody's a lying piece of trash? And she was like, because he's lying. And I watched him manipulate and create stories about me. And I know what he did to my friend. So you know what? The host was like, let me reel this in. Let me reel this in a little bit, because it's getting out of control. Because y'all know if you leave it up to Lindsay, she's going to go ahead and go on forever and ever. So the host brings it back in, and she starts asking them who they feel needs a redemption. Who they feel should come back for, you know, another season to find them a new husband or wife, okay? So Paige was brought up, and I agree, because Paige was married to Chris. But Paige needs some work because she was willing to settle for any and everything, okay? So unless she went to therapy and got herself together, I don't think it's her time, okay? Amber, y'all remember Amber, who was married to Matt, and y'all know Matt was the homeless basketball player. Child, she deserves a second chance. She definitely do. They said that Kirsten that was married to Mitch, you know, Mitch who was acting like a Mitch. And Mika, y'all remember Mika who was married to Mike, the lion Mike who said he was a yoga teacher, had that girl come all the way down to that daggone school, come to find out he was the janitor after he done got fired or didn't take the job as a principal. Child. But I'm not gonna hold you. Mika was a piece of work too. Not gonna hold you. She was definitely a piece of work. But hey, I would love to see her with someone else. Maybe we could get a nice, soft, feminine side of Mika, okay? And then, of course, they bring up Chris, who was on the season with Alyssa. You remember, I'm such a good person. Alyssa, who didn't even give him a chance, okay? So here go Lindsay, because nobody asked her, had to bring up the fact that she don't feel like he deserves a second chance. And we was like, why? She was like, because I thought he was a nice guy too. So I hooked him up with my friend. And then he ended up trying to like isolate her from her friends and her family. Like, you don't need to hang out with this one, and you don't need to hang out with that one. And she's making her trying to stop doing all the things that she was doing. And I had to let her no, that's a red flag. Because when a man starts to try to isolate you, he trying to control you. And I said, how come she got all the tea on everybody, but she can't seem to understand that she was part of the demise in her relationship? Child, that daggone Lindsay, I'm just curious. Is she still drinking? Because it's given she probably had something in that cup because she was definitely unhinged last night. Whoever was the lady who slapped Jeffy, shame on you. You don't just go up to slapping people, but Shanice got you. She said, whoever slapped my husband, it's an issue. And it should be on site. But y'all, Jeffy looked like he didn't want to be there the whole night. I'm not going to lie to you. Either he was really grooving from whatever he had in his cup or whatever the case may be, but Jeffy just looked like he did not care and he was just there because Shanice wanted to be there. So, of course, the hosts start asking them how did they feel about, watching themselves on TV. Jeffy and Shanice said that they stopped watching their season together because it always made them fight. So they end up getting to a point where they had to watch, separate because it was hard watching it it was hard watching it after they had already been through it. That I can understand. So then Lindsay goes in there and she wants to blame the whole entire cast for how she was portrayed. And I'm sitting here like, nobody had you drunk. Nobody had you in that bathroom talking about that man. Nobody had you at the bowling alley acting like that. Nobody had you acting the way you did except for you, Lindsay. So how you gonna blame your whole cast for the way that you was portrayed? That just don't make sense to me. And then she had the nerve to bring up how Steve tried to help Alyssa by telling her that she had a chance to, change the perception that she had put out there about herself. And Steve was like, I don't understand how you would think that's a bad thing. Like, you could change the perception of yourself too. And I don't know why he said that, because that just made her go completely off the hook, okay? So they started going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. She talked about how he made Noy pay for her ring. And Steve was like, is this slander? Do anybody know if this slander? I said, oh, he trying to sue. He trying to get a bag. Because he said that she's lying. She's really mad because she said that he coached Mark on how to make her look like a bad, big bully. First of all, Mark didn't make you look like that. Let's make that very clear. You made yourself look like that, Lindsay. This is the problem. Take accountability and responsibility for what you did. How you gonna sit here and blame Steve of all people, for how you were portrayed on TV? That don't even make sense. Then you got the nerve to say that he coached Mark into making you look bad. You and Mark look bad on your own. Okay? Because Mark did look bad too. Not gonna hold you. He just looked better than you because you had a nasty attitude. So the host was like, is it because he's like, saying like Mark was a good guy, things like that. She was like, I just hate when he's talking about something you could do better. He could do better. I need him to stop living off his parents and stop living off of women and move out and take care of himself. And I was sitting here like, oh, child. Not he living off of women and he still live with his parents and Steve still broke. Lindsay was coming for blood. I said the special guest ain't special guesting, huh? She said he was living on women's coattail. And if she ever sees him again, it would be too soon. I think next time we do a tell-all season, bring back the whole cast, the whole seasons. Because I feel like they got a lot of unresolved issues, and this could be a thing. This could definitely be a thing because for some reason, Lindsay was really upset. I mean, she was really in her feelings about this whole situation. She was coming for blood with Steve. So the host told Steve, like, listen, Steve, if you got money, just go ahead and prove to everybody. And I'm sitting here like, what do y'all want him to do? Y'all really want him to put his bank statement online? Like, he's like, I don't know what else. I said I got money. So here go Mindy, because that's her man. She got to stick beside him and stand up for him and let the people know, no, he got money. Tristan said, well, he did fly out here, so he had to have something in the bank. Tell me what you think. And I was like, I don't know. I really don't know. And that's none of our business. Just like Trisha said, if the man don't have a lot of money, whose business is it? Nobody's. Steve said he was there for Noy. He contributed to the relationship and he did not make her buy his ring. Now, in my opinion, I feel like when it comes to wedding rings and stuff like that, the man buys the woman a wedding ring and a wedding band, and then sometimes the women buy the man a band. That's not uncommon. That's not unheard of. So I'm really trying to figure out where we're going with this. But hey, they getting divorced. It's over. Lindsay, move the hell on. You sitting there holding on a grudge for Steve of all people? How you so happy and so miserable at the same time? Make it make sense. So now that everybody's like kind of validating Steve, Lindsay get upset and she want to storm off in Lindsay fashion. Go into a room and close the door. I'm like, let her go. Let her go. She's negative. There's a lot of negative energy up there. So the host goes out there and follows after her because she's like, what's going on, Lindsay? She was like, he's the reason that people perceive me like this. And she was like, you have a chance to show them that you're not that person. This is the chance to do it. But y'all know something? This is just who Lindsay is. There is no redemption. There is no changing. There is no different view that we're going to get from her because every time we see her, it's the same behavior. And I'm definitely with Mindy because when she got up, Mindy was like, what the fuck? That's how I felt. What the fuck? What's happening here? Child, but it's a good tell-all because I'm here for the drama. Y'all know I love a little drama. Okay, so then the host brought up the fact, like, do you guys ever forget that the cameras are there? And, you know, some of them were saying, like, you know, sometimes, like, yeah, most likely you forget the cameras are there because they're always there. So then they brought up the incident where Lindsay went into the bathroom and, you know, she was saying all those things about Mark and how he only makes $60K selling gym memberships and how he had bed bugs and he was a low life and all this other stuff. Y'all remember what she said. Okay, even though she blaming Steve for being portrayed a certain way. Chloe, let it go. Let it go. But anyway, she said that she don't regret saying any of the things. She intentionally got away from the cameras, but the mic was still on. That's what happens. But she don't feel bad about saying it anyway because she was taking jabs at that man all freaking night. When I say all freaking night, I mean all freaking night, okay? So then it was time for Steve to leave and I was like, thank God, because then maybe Lindsay could stop acting like a fool all night long, okay? So then Jeffrey and Shanice, let me tell y'all something. Y'all know I love Jeffrey and Shanice. I love hearing how, you know, Married at First Sight essentially brought them together, and then when they broke up, it kind of brought them back together when they did, you know, their special for, you know, when they did the Happily Ever After special. I really like Jeffrey and Shanice, and I know some people be conflicted with them too, but I feel like they're the realest. Like, I feel like they go through everyday issues that people been through. Young people really struggling to like love and choosing to love each other and fighting for their family. I just love it, okay? Some people say it's struggle love or whatever the case may be, but I relate to it to a certain extent. So a part of me is always rooting for them and just happy for them. But like, especially because they've been married for 6 years. So they really holding on strong. And I'm always rooting for black love. I will say that I don't like the fact that Shanice's hair was so full. Like, it's cute. Like, the hair was cute. And I know she got her wig line. I just wish it was a tad bit thinner. A tad bit. So they start talking about fights that we probably never seen on camera. Now, let me tell y'all something about Tristan, because Tristan's a liar. He's a liar. Because Tristan tried to convince us that he didn't kick Mia out the house and tell her that she couldn't stay there and pack her bags and all that other stuff. When we saw a video of him literally dragging her bags out the house. He tried to make it seem like she packed her own stuff and all this other stuff, and he just made a joke by throwing out a sock because it was out there. Liar, liar, pants on fire. Tristan's a liar. Because he lied through this whole thing trying to make himself look good when this proof, the proof is right there on the screen. You literally dragged those bags out the door. And who plays like that by throwing a sock out the door? Like, grow up. And I know this was years ago, but something about that triggered me with him, okay? And because I didn't review that season, ooh, baby, y'all know I really feel some type of way. And I'm no fan of Mia either. But let's not act like Tristan was all that good. I keep trying to tell y'all, just because one person is wrong, don't make the other person right. I keep telling y'all that. Y'all gonna hear me out one day. So then Lindsay says that her and Mark fought all the time, which I definitely believe, okay? She said that if we really would have saw how Mark really was, he was actually worse than Chris Williams. Baby, nobody's worse than Chris Williams. I'm not buying it, okay? Talking about he lied about everything. He didn't have no job when he came here. His income, he only was making $17,000, not even $60,000. He lied about his income, and he had the bed bugs before he came here. So she was basically just taking shots at him the whole entire time. And I'm just like, this is the problem, Lindsay. Nobody's telling you that you shouldn't have standards. Nobody's telling you that you shouldn't be mad that you was matched with a man who wasn't who he said he was. That's not the issue. It's the malicious intent behind it. It's the way that you present it to the world. It's the way that you try to talk about him and downplay him and this, that, and the other and make him feel less than. That's the issue. But until you realize that your delivery is effed up, and that's why people are seeing you the way they're seeing you, because trust and believe, everybody would be upset if they got matched with a man who wasn't making no money, who lied about, you know, everything about his whole entire life. Everybody would be upset. That's not the issue. The issue is how you present it, how you go about it. It's just nasty and it's malicious. That's the issue. We found out that Kristen and Mitch fought a lot too. Now, I didn't see them having a lot of arguments. It kind of felt like they kind of just didn't care about each other at all to even get into it. But apparently they got into it to the point where she told her mother that, you know, he didn't like her. He said he wasn't attracted to her. Then he got some tequila and tried to hump on her, okay? Mother went back and told her friend, and her friend slid into his DMs and told him, "You're lucky that you even in the presence of Kristen, and I will have the army pull up on you." I said, not they was about to pull up on Mitch. Why they didn't show that? Because that would have been something to show. I feel like these seasons be so dragged out and boring, and it be so much good stuff going on behind the scenes that, baby, they could be showing us. I'm just saying. I'm definitely just saying, okay? Then they talked to Tristan about how his experience has been ever since he's made that comment about not wanting to date, you know, how he wanted to date someone who was his complexion or lighter, okay? Now, we clearly saw him say in this, and this is why I say that Tristan just be lying to make himself look good, okay? We clearly heard him say that he wants someone who's his complexion or lighter. And we heard him say that, so I don't know why he's acting like that's not what he said out of his own mouth. He's talking about something. I said that I love all women and I love all different ethnicities and this, that, and the other. Da 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 da. Cool, bet. Okay? But don't sit here and act like you didn't say what you said. And I'm going to be honest with y'all. I do have a problem when it comes to men and women who kind of put on this thing like, I only like light-skinned people. Something about that triggers me when we all black. Okay? Because that's a form of colorism. It kind of makes me feel like you're saying because someone is of darker skin complexion that they're not attractive or they're not pretty or they're not handsome. That's what it gives, okay? It's one thing to have, you know, a preference when it comes to weight. One thing to have a preference when it comes to height. One thing, and I'm not saying anything's wrong with, you know, wanting what you want. Nothing's wrong with that. But I will be lying if I said that I don't feel like there's an undertone to the fact that you say you don't want someone dark skinned, because that's basically saying doesn't matter if you're pretty or it doesn't matter if you're a perfect, it doesn't matter if you're a nice human being, just the simple fact that your skin's too dark. That's the issue. That's the issue. And that's it. And that's all. But I'm not, you know what? And the thing is, I never have a problem with anyone's preference. But when it comes to Tristan, it's colorist. It's colorism. It is. Because he's a liar, and I see it all up through him, and that's why he went after his preference. And y'all can say what y'all want, because a part of me feel like he don't even want a black woman, which is why he didn't marry one. None of my business, though. Let's keep moving on. And I definitely understand what Shanice was saying about how men have their preference and women have their preference, and it's a double standard, and blah, 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 blah. All that I completely understand, but like I said before, when it comes to Tristan, he's a colorist. I said what I said. It is what it is. Point blank, period. Why I forgot that Christina tried to make Henry out to be gay because he didn't like her. That daggone Christina was a piece of work. And y'all, that's all I'm going to get into because I really feel like that was the main gist of everything. Okay, there was a little bit of this and a little bit of that. But if y'all watch the whole episode, then y'all already know what those little bits are, okay? So I'm not about to go into all of it. But I will say that this was a really good episode. And I'm going to leave y'all with what Shanice said, okay? Shanice said that if you do not have any intentions of being married and you're coming up here for the wrong reasons, like just to be on reality TV, then Married at First Sight is not for you because someone else's feelings are involved. And I always agree with that. I always feel like there is some people who come up here just for TV, just for clout, just for fame, or they 15 minutes of fame. And it's like, Married at First Sight is not that type of show. There's so many other reality TV shows that you could go on. Don't choose Married at First Sight to come up here and ruin somebody's life. Okay? Just don't do it. Because then you got to go through a whole process of divorce and then just all the negativity and things like that. It's not worth it. It's just not worth it. You guys let me know how you feel about the episode down below. I really hope you enjoyed this review. Don't forget, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that subscribe button. With all that being said, I'm going to talk to you guys later. Peace.